my name's Yvonne and I'm a UK Stampin' Up demonstrator, and what I'm going to show you today is For the Guys card kit. So this is a kit offered by Stampin' Up and is available from the beginning of June 2021. So in the kit you'll get a full colour sheet, and this has got 2 card designs with envelopes to go with it. Now, it's always difficult to make cards for men, and I think this is a great card kit to use, not just for Father's Day, but for birthdays as well. Now, there are stamps in this kit, and you get everything to make both of these cards. Right, so I will, as I say, this is the colour leaflet you get in. You get a stamping spot, which is Mossy Meadow. Here are the stamps you get in the kit as well. So you've got Happy to You, Father's Day, birthday, anniversary, thank you, nephew, son, all that you do, I love you, grandson, brother, uncle, granddad and friend. And then there's also like some little lines on the stamp set as well. So this stamp set is a great one for, as I say, not just for men, but for other members of the family as well. You also get your dimensionals. So these are the large dimensionals. And there we go, the Mossy Meadow ink spot. Also included in this kit is a block, which is a D size block, and that's all included. Then you have these little cards, which are all pre-printed, and it's got like a wood effect and a tartan effect, which is very nice. Then we have the envelopes, so you've got 2 different colours, and the card blanks. Then we even have glue dots, so you can stick all your items on your cards. And here are the shapes that you'll be able to stamp on to create your cards. Now, this particular card kit has some different shapes with trees and tree levels and mountains. So this is the one, and we have some banners as well. Now, these banners are like 3D, so they've got like a fold line just at that point where you can fold them to make them stand up properly. And here are the mountains and the lake effect for the other card. Right, so we'll be able to start putting the card together. Now, on this particular one, I haven't used a stamp set. I've used a different stamp set because I was using this kit as a giveaway for competition for my customers. So I'll be using a different stamp set. But whatever you're using, it'll look good, definitely. Right. So I'm just going to use the way that it's been designed, the card, and just preparing to get everything ready so we can start. When I'm using this kit, I won't be using the stamping ink spot. I'll be using the full size ink pad, just because, as I said, this was a giveaway. So I didn't want to use too much of the kit. Right, so here is the first card. So you've got the wood and the tartan effect, and that's going to be positioned on the card base. I'm using glue, a liquid glue on this one, just for demonstration purposes, but you can use any adhesive that you like to use. So just position that on the card, press it down, and then we can start with the shield. So this is the actual stamp set I'm going to be using, A Wish for Everything, which is part of a 2 set stamp set. So it's got all the stamps on one, and then it's got little sentiments on the other. So you've got wishes, those stamp sets are really versatile, and they're an ideal purchase. So there we go, I've got my Mossy Meadow, my full-size stamp. And then I've just attached my stamp to the block. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that my stamp is lined up, and also that it gives a good impression. And then I can stamp on the shield. It's always best to do a little trial before you stamp on anything. I think that says happy. So there we go. Just press it down, and then you've got the happy on the shield. So this is the banner, and as you can see, it's got 2 parts that bend. So you bend it one way and then bend it back the other way, and then that gives you a 3D effect. Little raised part. What I will say is, when you're stamping, then don't do the folds first. Stamp on your banner first, and then do your folds second. Just so that it'll lie flat for when you're actually stamping. And I'm just looking for the Father's Day. So this particular stamp set is a cling stamp set, so it's the red rubber. But the one that you get in the actual kit is the photopolymer one, so you can see through that. I was having a little bit of difficulty with trying to get these to line up, but you won't have that problem because the actual stamps are see-through in your kit. It was just the fact that I had to use a slightly different stamp set. But as I say, do a test beforehand just to make sure that you're happy. Yep. So yeah, I tried a few times just to test it out to make sure that I liked how it was laying or the right position. And yeah, it took a couple of attempts, but we got there in the end. And the card kit comes in its own box, quite a sturdy box, so you're able to keep all your bits and pieces all together. And one of the things as well with the actual leaflet is it shows you 2 of the designs, but you can create your own designs from that. So you can use 2 different types of paper on the front of a card, and then if you haven't got a shield punch or a shield die, then you can use a different shape, and then you can make it your own. Right, so I've stamped the Father's Day. It's still not quite right, but it works, so we'll go with it. And then I'll need to stamp under the banner. Let's see which stamp I'm going to be using. So, some of these stamps I hadn't actually used, so I was having to find something. There we go. So it's Happy Father's Day wishes. So they're the 2 words that are in the stamp set. So you have the happy and the wishes, and then you get the other sentiments that are in the different font. Right, so let's start putting this card together now. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to put the shield down with the glue. With the Tombow, you don't need a lot of glue. It's not a glue that's going to make your paper bumpy or anything. So that's why I like using it and just pressing down. And trying not to get ink on the card, which I can quite often do. But that's part of being a crafter. You always manage to get ink on your hands somewhere and you've no idea where you got the ink from. It's just appeared. You've caught something. So I'm using my dimensionals, but I'm going to be using the smaller ones. So they're the standard size ones, and then there's some smaller ones. But for yourself, when you get the kit, then you just be able to cut your bigger ones in half, just so they fit. So when you finish with your dimensionals, you've always got the edges available to cut up as well. Crafters never throw anything away. We try and use as much as possible. I'm just peeling off the backing of the dimensionals. I'm just making sure that that's folded nicely. so we can get it so it gives a raised effect. Just positioning that in the middle. And there we go. That's the first card. So it's a really nice design, and it's something that you can duplicate with other papers. Just take that idea and then see what else you've got in your stash. Right, so we're on to the next card. Again, we've got another banner, and I've folded it when I should have actually left it flat. And here is the mountain range setup. So I'm just positioning the first background, or the first mountain, and this darker mountain, then the river, and finally the trees. And I'm just positioning those to where I'm happy for them to be. And then looking to see where I'm going to put that shape for my sentiment. I'm just holding it into place and then just using a pencil just to mark it. And then that'll help me to position it in the right place. Again, I'm using my glue, but you'll have your little glue dots in your kit. That's the first part. Just pressing that down. And the second mountain range. Yep, I'm happy with that now. So again, just making a mark. And then scribbling my little bit of glue. Now don't worry if you've not got it quite straight, because you can trim it off after you put your card together. Last part is the lake, a very green lake. Pressing that down. As you can see, I've got a little bit of an overhang, so I'll trim that off afterwards. And then we've got the trees. And I'm going to put the trees on the dimensionals just to give it a little bit more depth. You don't need too many. If you are putting this card in the post, I would suggest putting a few more on just so it doesn't crush, but if you're just hand delivering it, then that should be fine. And if you were using this as a autumn card or winter card, then you could put some snow on those trees, either snow, foam, glitter or something like that. So we have the other shape. And just scribbling the glue on. And then position that onto the card. pressing it down to make sure it adheres, because you're putting it over 2 different levels. Right, so now back to getting the stamping done. You always get those little bits all over your work surface, and they seem to cling to your clothes, and you'll find them all over the house if you're at some point. But that's the beauty of crafting. Right. Again, we've got the happy stamp in the mossy meadow. And then we've got the banner again. I really like the fact of the shadow that those trees make, because they're raised up. I like that effect. Back to testing. I hadn't put it on a separate block. See what that looks like. As I say, it'll be much easier using the stamps in the actual kit, because Father's Day is all one word, and you can see where you're positioning it. So I've been brave and gone for it. There we go. And again, we're going to put the wishes. Make sure you leave enough room for your banner in the middle. It's always best to shut your ink pad up, because you're bound to... I can see I've got ink on my fingers. Managed to get ink. I've got a little chamois at the side of my desk that I can just wipe. Give my stamps a quick wipe if I'm using multiple colours, or in this case, to clean my hands. So back to the dimensionals. And picking off the backs. Just making sure those creases are folded properly. And then position it in the middle. And there you go. That is the other card. What I will suggest is that the mountain ranges and the trees you have sort of a silhouette of where you've taken them off the sheet, and you could use that to make your own mountain ranges just by drawing and using the cutout as your template. So that would be a good idea. And there we are, there's the 2 cards. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please watch out for this card kit that's going to be available. I'll put links below, and if you want a catalogue from me, then if you send an email to my address yflittonSUD@gmail.com, I'll be happy to put one in the post. I also have a blog which is craftingforeveryone.blogspot.com, and I always put pictures on there as well as my Instagram page, so you'll be able to check me out there. Well, have a great